But
thought I was gonna go there and sleep there.
Ryan, it goes back to, like, for let's take Brian Koberger case. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, I
Mm.
mean, technically he's innocent until proven guilty,
Yeah.
right? I mean, there's a lot of people that says he's, in a problem with, right?
Right.
You're not trying. Like, why would you not?
I have a question for all of you who you've covered past cases. Summer's not your first case, maybe. I'm really curious. It's really difficult for us, for Jen and I, because like when we went to CrimeCon, we heard from families who were telling us how YouTubers just massacred them, dug into their past, and many of them were innocent in the end. Some of them maybe, some parents aren't innocent. But when you're covering a case, like it's hard. It's really difficult. Do you when do you make the decision to cross the line and say yes, those parents are guilty before anyone has legally said that?
That's a good question. I think it's really, I mean, that's a difficult,
It's
you
very
know,
difficult.
it's,
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. It's very difficult. Um, I don't, I won't ever say someone's, like, use the word guilty, but if you're like, if you're not trying for your kid, right? That's what I have a problem with, right? You're not trying. Like, why would you not try for your kid?
Right.
That's what I have a problem with, and
That's when people say, Cher, why would you do half the things you did and talk to Don like that or send Don those pictures or whatever? And why would you do that? Why can't you respect their marriage? Because they're like, I'm concerned about their little daughter that is missing.
but
That's who I care about. If they don't have respect for their daughter that's missing and they don't give a shit, and I know that I am witnessing them not search and doing all this weird shit and just taking it for a joke, I have zero respect for their marriage. I have zero respect for their marriage when I'm on video call and I know damn well that they groom people together. I
mhm.
know she talks to people, he talks to people. I'll tell you what, I was, I mean, I could have had a real sister wife if I wanted one.
Mhm.
Okay?
And
But Don was crazy. He
but
thought I was going to go there and sleep there.
Ryan, it goes back to, like, for let's take Brian Koberger case. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, I
Mm.
mean, technically he's innocent until proven guilty,
Yeah.
right? I mean, there's a lot of people that says he's, innocent. I don't think that whatsoever, personally. Um, but there's a lot
No
of
way he was
YouTubers.
alone, though, right?
Oh yeah, he was alone. Yeah, of course he
Hmm.
was alone. He did this by himself, in my
Oh,
opinion.
okay. Hmm.
But I mean, the parents, they got hounded too, and they, like, their their children are victims. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm.
Like, they had absolutely nothing to do with it, and it's, um, and there's big YouTubers who says Brian Koberger is innocent. Um, and I personally think that's kind of a slap in the face to the parents. The not the Kobergers, but the parents of the deceased children. Um, but it's New Frontier. It really is. It's one of those things. It's New Frontier. There just isn't,
I
you
know.
know,
Sorry, I had to step away and make a bottle. I've never said that anyone is guilty of anything. I think that that is going too far because I even feel weird saying that somebody's guilty even after they've been convicted. I've struggled with that because
Hmm.
that's a big
why.
thing to put on somebody. Like
But you didn't put that on them, the jury or
right,
judge did.
right. But I think that it's just because I've trained my brain to because I don't focus so much on after the trial's over on a
Are we-
case. I usually focus during the case.
I
Right.
don't know
So
if we're
kinda train my
supposed to have
brain.
a justice system, to be honest, because isn't God supposed to be the judge and the jury? And didn't he hang out with like murderers and
Yeah, but
shit?
people
And
be
one
held
sin's
accountable.
not like worse than
Well,
the
we got to
other.
have a justice system here. I mean,
Mhm.
There has to
otherwise,
be.
Well, it's just got to work right. Damn it, it's got to be better.
It does need to be better. But I think that, I mean, just like with Seth, you know, I disagree with people going at Seth the way that they are. And it's not because I'm a sympathizer of him or however you want to word it. I think there's things that he has done that is not right, but he also has a missing child.
right.
Yeah.
I pay attention to the stories and how they change or the actions, what they're doing or not doing. And I would never, ever encourage, nor would I do it myself, going after somebody in their real life. You know, like I would
Mhm.
not harass Dawn and Candace. I don't ever want to speak to them myself.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to speak with anybody involved in a case myself. The only time that I've ever considered speaking to anybody involved in a case on purpose
Yeah.
was when I wanted Brandy to come on panel with me during a live stream to do an updated timeline information live stream, basically, you know. And that was just because I didn't want to get anything wrong. I wanted to
Right.
do monkey justice, you know, and that was it. But otherwise, I would never, like, I wouldn't call their job. I wouldn't call their, you know, like, call their family members or harass anybody in a negative light, you know, nothing like that. You know, maybe speak to somebody if they had information that they've already given to law enforcement, but something that may help us understand the case a little bit better, you know, maybe. But I haven't done it. And I'm not knocking anybody who has. Now, if you've harassed the family, yes, don't do that. That's bull. Don't do
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
Don't harass anybody involved in a case because that's just not right. We don't know.
That's not our job.
Right. We don't know
It-
what happened. We don't know who is guilty. We don't even know what happened
I
to the
do.
child yet. So that's where
Fun.
I am.
Here.
But I know Cher's on a different level. But
I think I'm with you, Mandy. Like, I hear what you're saying. I think there's ethics to calling out red flags. I can see that,
yes,
right? I mean,
yes. Yeah, absolutely. And it's
you
not
see
just
that chat? We can all differ. And they even let me have my tin hat moments, and they just laugh at me. They don't have to tear me down. You see how that works? Love it.
exactly. We don't have to talk shit or have drama, you know. We can get along. We can disagree and agree to disagree.
Right.
But
Absolutely.
the red flags, it's not just something that we find interesting about the case. It's red flags that we've seen in previous cases. Like you said, Ryan, we have covered more cases than just Summer. Summer wasn't
Yeah.
our first. And as you start covering cases, even closed cases, like Brittany and I are going to do a live stream in regards to Dylan Redwine. He was a 13-year-old boy that his father did murmur him. And it took 9 years for that man to be sentenced for what he did to his own child.
Mhm.
9 years.
Mm.
So it's an interesting case because there's so many red flags that were during that case. And so learning the red flags of a closed case that's already been solved and seeing those red flags, it helps me personally in the current cases that I'm covering. Watch
Yes,
for those
very
same,
much.
That's a
same
good
red
point.
flags.
Yeah. Well,
There's patterns. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you see a lot of patterns overlap throughout different cases. You know what I mean? So you're like, oh, we've seen that before. Oh, we've seen that before. And
Mhm.
you know, it kind of sets a precedent. You know, so
And
precedent,
not only that,
rather.
it can help you in your own personal life also. You know, if you have somebody that's around you or a family member has a significant other that you've questioned the way that they treat a child or, whatever, call CPS. Don't take a chance.
Yeah.
Because they could be the next Quentin Simon or they could be, don't
Mm.
take that chance because those red flags from the cases that we're covering. So there's multiple
Right.
different ways that it's very beneficial to respectfully talk about cases and respectfully you have to look at all perspectives, look at every possibility. That's why when somebody says, well, I think this happened, even if I disagree with that, I can still say, well, it's possible, because anything is possible. We don't know yet. So, but I appreciate what you and Jen are doing, going out there and
Thank you.
searching. When you got
Mhm.
all that
Me
shit
too.
handed to you by people on YouTube, it pissed me off, because I was like, they're out there
Sorry,
searching.
Ryan.
I told Cher about herself. I got
Yeah,
you.
she did.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that stuff doesn't bother us. I'll tell you what bothers us the most is
I
the
got good friends behind me, y'all. Yep.
yeah, the behavior, like what you just described, Mandy. When I do see YouTubers out there with, outside job sites going real life on people, it just makes me cringe. It's like, that's just disgusting. Makes me sick to my stomach, because those they are still parents of missing children. Do you know what I mean?
Right. And there's a certain, like, if you're going to a location to show us the location, I appreciate that, because, Google Maps only shows so much. And I think that when the people go to the actual location and you can see it better, or if you're able to go yourself and see it with your own eyes, you get a way better perspective, especially in Tennessee. I don't even think I can grasp half of the depth of those mountains
Yeah,
from what I see on the
Mhm.
computer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So, it
you
is
can't. It's
right.
it's crazy.
yeah.
So I
I,
think
I
that is
respect anybody going out there and looking. Anybody, or if you're looking
You-
for a kid, high five. Thank you.
yes.
So Justin and Ryan, you've been out there. How is it? How long would it take you guys to run up? And you think, how plausible is it for what we're being told happened this summer? Did you like?
In my opinion, where they live on a dead end road in the
Mhm.
middle of nowhere, remember there's all kinds of, it's a hill. You can't see the house from the driveway or anything.
And so the cameras and everything, from what I hear, doesn't do no justice to it. Like, it's actually a lot worse than what we're seeing when you guys show us, right?
It's a big mountain. Yeah, it's a big hill. Yeah. So
Okay.
I